Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 10, The Italian Invasion. Well, this week we open up at Envy, that's Melissa's boutique, and she has cleared a rack in her store for Danielle's Bougie Kids line. Yes, Danielle is there. It's her little pop-up store inside Envy. And oh good, Jennifer's here too. I assume to support Danielle, but she does manage to ask Melissa if she's okay with her and Dolores being bridesmaids. And Melissa goes, yes, of course. Jennifer, do you think about it after the fact? Like, maybe I should have said yes? Or are you okay with your decision? Are you kidding me? She cannot be referring to the mozzarella party. When Teresa said, oh, well, if you really want to be in the wedding, you can. Oh, wow. What a heartfelt invitation. Just weeks before the actual wedding. How low would your self-esteem have to be like, oh, yes, please. Thank you so much. No. I'm good. I'm sorry, Jennifer. You can't rewrite history to make it seem like Teresa wanted Melissa to be in her wedding from the very start, but Melissa just turned her down. Joe even said that he begged Louis and Gia to please have Teresa change her mind. Don't take this out on Melissa, please. And she wouldn't. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure Melissa's okay with her decision. Anyway, Melissa in her confessional is like, I just want this to be a good trip to Ireland. So all this talk about bridesmaids and whoever she's having as her bride, I'm letting it all go. She's letting go the fact that none of her children are in the wedding either. I was kind of wondering about that. And as far as Dolores and Jennifer being asked, I feel like that shouldn't bother her either because they were kind of last minute replacements too. But at least she asked them because she wanted them, even though it was 2 weeks before the wedding. With Melissa, all she did was said, I mean, if you really want to be a bridesmaid, you can. So it was like she was conceding to Melissa. Not that she wanted it, but that because Melissa wanted it so much, out of the goodness of Teresa's heart, she was going to allow her to be a bridesmaid. Way different. And I love that Teresa is now spinning it like, I asked her. She said no. Okay. I shouldn't say Teresa, Jennifer. Jennifer is making it seem that way. Then they talk a little bit about the trip, and Melissa's just worried because of the state that everybody's in. All these ladies, like, not getting along with each other. Margaret and Jennifer, and Danielle and Rachel. And Danielle calls Rachel a rat. And according to Melissa, if you call somebody in Jersey a rat, that is very bad. But Danielle's like, listen, I forgive, but I will never forget. So I guess she's saying that it's fine. She's going to be fine being with her in Ireland. We'll see. Nobody's really ever fine on a Housewives girls trip, but okay. All right, after a little packing montage, we are at Paul's apartment, and his brother and sister-in-law are there visiting from Ireland. So they're talking to Dolores about Ireland and what to do there and things like that. And I guess for Teresa's like bachelorette party, kind of, they're going to do like a pub crawl. Dolores said that when Paulie took her to Ireland for Valentine's Day, she got to meet a lot of his family there, and she goes, I love them. They remind me of my family. So apparently, crazy? No, I think she just means like a big, close family. Dolores has planned this whole trip. They're staying in a castle, and she's got all the activities planned, but she is very worried because she said these ladies are very picky. I can't think of a worse time to go on a girls' trip. Regardless of the fact that this happens on every franchise, all the housewives across the board go on these trips where they fight and everything. This one is just starting off with such animosity and division in the group. I can't even imagine how this can be fun. We check in with Margaret, and as she's packing, she's telling Joe B about the coffee reader and how Jennifer prompted her with the endorsement part. Melissa is packing. She's telling Joe basically the same story. And Melissa mentions that because Teresa was sick and wasn't at the coffee reading, she hasn't spoken to her since they left the Fudas at the shore. So it's been a long time. She's a little worried about that. Teresa and Louis are kind of talking about the same thing. And Louis said, "It's absolutely impossible to communicate with your brother without all his theatrical anger. It's not healthy." I agree, but let's not forget, I want to punch him in the face. "You gotta stop, Joe, because I got nothing to lose. Do you understand me?" Yeah. Joe might not be the only theatrical one. So Louis is like, "Oh, I'm drained." And Teresa doesn't want him to get all stressed out. He's like, I don't have the energy for Joe anymore. In Teresa's confessional, she's like, "I'm seeing a shift in Louis, and rightfully so. He's done nothing to hurt them. If anything, he's taken a hard beating. He's lost money. I try to put myself in his shoes, and if I was in a situation like that with his sister, I can't even imagine it." Well, you're in a similar situation with your other sister-in-law. So Teresa is going into this trip with good vibes, and she will not give in to the darkness. She's like, "I don't want to be triggered by all this nonsense." I hope she's not triggered by the nonsense. But if history tells us anything, she usually is. Listen, I'm always hopeful. She's in therapy, and that's good. The longer she stays in therapy, the more she can learn, and the better the chance for change to occur. Do I sound like I'm convincing myself Teresa can change? No, anybody can change if they're working on it, and I just hope she really is working on it. At Jennifer's house while she's packing, she tells Bill that she has planned a bachelorette party of sorts. Now, I thought Dolores was planning everything on this trip, but maybe they're planning this together because, they're buddies. At least they're co-party planners. So the plan is that everyone is going to wear green, guess because they're in Ireland. You know how these ladies are. And Teresa is going to wear white so that she stands out. Bill, is she going to be wearing one of those bride-to-be sashes? I love that a vampire even knows what those are. Jennifer tells Bill, "I'm going to avoid Margaret unless she has something specific that she wants to say to me." You mean like specifically apologize? Because I can't imagine there's anything else that Margaret could say to you that you would sit and listen to. Jennifer goes on to say, "She's doing things to me that are affecting my family. And my daughter now wants to be a love therapist." Okay, time out. To be fair, your husband did things that affected your family and made your daughter want to be a love therapist. But I do understand it was Margaret that kept alluding to the affair on camera to the point where Jennifer just kind of blurted it out herself. I don't know if you guys remember that. Teresa was having like a pool party and Margaret was going on and on, dancing all around this like affair thing. Your husband had an affair. And Jennifer just finally stopped denying it by saying, "It was a pharmaceutical rep. Get your facts straight." I think Margaret might have thought it was like the office manager or something like that. But having said all that, you guys made up after that. You told Margaret how much that hurt you, how much it hurt your family. She showed remorse. I felt, there was crying on both sides. You guys hugged. That felt pretty genuine to me. And I think I even remember when I was recapping it at the time, saying something about how authentic that felt. So my question to Jennifer is, what is Margaret doing now to hurt your family? I understand that the fallout from last year is like still rearing its ugly head. And, there's residual effects of that. But it isn't like she's actively continuing to come after your family. Last year happened. You guys talked about it. You made up. She apologized. I feel like the reason you are currently fighting with Margaret is because you didn't really accept that apology. And, you get 2 new cast members on the show this year, and you've been warning them about Margaret, and she sees that as you now starting up a new fight with her after the 2 of you made up. But I don't think she has talked about your marriage since last year. I don't remember her talking about it this year. And truth be told, I would not have made up with Margaret. I don't like what she was doing last year. And yes, there are children involved, and you're kind of messing with a family by outing the father's affair with somebody. And I don't know that I could forgive Margaret for that. However, I also would not have been like Jennifer and continued to come at Margaret for cheating on her ex-husband. I wouldn't have done that either. I don't approve of it, but I would not have been outwardly critical. It's just not my place. But again, you guys made up, you forgave her, so stop talking to the new girls about her. Anyway, now Jennifer has moved on to Bill. She wants to know if he wants to be more involved with the kids. And he goes, "Oh, of course I do." And Jennifer goes, "Well, you keep saying that, Bill, but how?" "Well, I'm going to drop some of my hobbies, my golf." Jennifer. "You know what your hobby is, Bill? Hanging out in the pool house for hours and hours and hours." Upside down. Hey, you knew what you were getting into when you married a vampire. He can really only be active at night. So there's a lot of hours during the day that he's not going to be the best father. So Bill asks, "Should I not be my true self?" Jennifer. "Your true self got left at the door the minute you said, 'I do.'" Oh my God. What? As interesting a take on marriage as that is. Jennifer just goes on to say, "Look, I like spending time with you, okay? I like having you around. If I didn't, I wouldn't care how many hours you spent in the pool house." So, Bill's like, "Well, I hope so." And he agrees to maybe continue with therapy. I thought he was on board with therapy. I guess I missed something there. I think he made it sound like he was, but maybe he really wasn't. And now he's saying maybe, and Jennifer's like, "Well, I'll take maybe." But it maybe means no, if you ask me. Otherwise, I think he would say, "Yeah, I think there's some benefit." And you definitely can't push someone into therapy when they're not ready for it. I mean, you could forcibly make them go, but they're not going to get anything out of it until they're ready. So it's kind of pointless. All right, now we are at the airport. Melissa is, of course, in a little green plaid jacket. She's got her green Gucci purse. She's like, "Do I look like Ireland?" And Jen Fessler, who's in blue sweats and a baseball cap, is like, "Yeah, you do." Someone didn't get the memo. When going on a Housewives girls trip, do some mild research into the most stereotypical things about that location and dress accordingly. Oh, God. Okay, and here we are. Bravo's got some jaunty Irish music, and Melissa's already pulled out a top of the morning to ya. That was Shannon's line when the OC ladies went to Ireland, as I recall. Anywho, they head to the castle, and Melissa is already afraid that it's haunted. There's 9 bedrooms, 7 baths. While they're still in the bus that's taking them there, Dolores stands up to announce that she is taking one of the good rooms for herself, right off the bat. "I usually don't complain and I give up my room, but not this time." And everyone basically agrees because, Dolores usually is pretty easygoing about where she sleeps. And already I'm kind of happy because I thought this was going to be all about catering to Teresa because she's getting married. But I'm like, okay, Dolores is taking the good room for herself. No. Spoke too soon. Apparently there's 2 good rooms, and Teresa, as the bride, gets the other one. The rest will be drawing names from a hat. Oh, now we learn that Jen Fessler went to acting school, and Teresa asked her, "Did you meet any actors in acting school?" Maybe she means anybody who then became famous. And Jen Fessler said, "Well, I became a talent agent." And Margaret goes, "How many people did you sleep with?" Jen Fessler, "Well, James Gandolfini, and that's a fact." What? Yeah. Melissa's like, "Oh, Who gets to Tony Soprano? Apparently Jen Fessler. In her confessional, she tells us this was before The Sopranos. He took her to an S&M bar. She was obsessed with him. And then they went back to his apartment and had sex. She's like, he was so the one that got away, but also the one that really never was. Now she's telling the ladies, when he died, I was so upset. Finally, Jeff was like, you do realize you weren't in a relationship with him, right? Okay, so this long driveway up to the castle, it's very Downton Abbey looking on the outside. And there are two ladies, staff members, waiting to greet them. They walk into this 17th century castle. And Margaret goes, I love the way it smells. And then I think it was Rachel that said, it smells like bacon. Rachel, Melissa, and Teresa are all afraid that it's haunted. Apparently by a butcher or a pig that lived there, possibly centuries ago. Okay, now it is time for Bedroom Lotto. So each of these rooms have a name, and those names were put in a hat. And so whatever name the lady pulled out of the hat, that was the room she was staying in. In Jennifer's confessional, she says, these bitches, they're such divas about what room they're gonna get. I don't even care where I sleep, because guess what? I sleep in a palace every night of my life. So the names of the bedrooms are pulled from the hat. Margaret got Tinker's, which she assumes might be the dog's room, but could have been the pig. We don't know at this point. We're not sure. If the scent of bacon gets stronger as they get closer to Tinker's, I might be onto something. So the first room is huge and luxurious, and it has a massive bathroom. I mean, if I drew the bathroom's name, I would have been happy. It's just huge. And it turns out to be Jennifer's room. Yeah. She squeals with delight, no pun intended. Look, I'm not saying she got possessed by the pig that was haunting this place, but I am just saying she kind of let out a little shriek of delight. It's my room. I'm so happy. Back to her confessional. Forget what I said. I am so enjoying this right now. So after everyone gets their room, Margaret's room, Tinker's is the smallest room. There's two little twin beds. It's still lovely and fine. I'm sure very comfortable and fine. And Margaret was fine with it too. Nobody complained. So now everyone is sitting down to have some lunch. And when the two girls that are, the staff members leave the room, Dolores reminds everybody that they're not in Jersey anymore and that they should behave accordingly. She gave them quite the dressing down, and I don't even think anybody was doing anything wrong yet. Maybe this was just like a preemptive sort of watch yourselves, ladies. She does cite the way Jackie was so rude to the coffee reader. And Jackie goes, well, I didn't want my cup read. Everybody was upset. And Margaret goes, that was Jennifer's fault. Jennifer, how was it my fault? Margaret, you witness tampered. And Jennifer's like, I did not witness tamper. I was as shocked as you guys. Margaret's like, okay. She knew all the answers ahead of time. And Jen Fessler's like, every single detail. And Jennifer goes, you think I told her that stuff? Half that I didn't even know. No. Unless there was other stuff that didn't air, but everything that was shown on the episode last week was stuff that Jennifer was privy to. Actually, all of us knew all that stuff. I would love to know what Jennifer is claiming she didn't know. Rachel's like, it looked weird. And Jackie goes, it looks like it was manipulated. And Dolores goes, 1,000%. So even Dolores, really everybody, it was very fake. And Jennifer goes, you guys, at the end of the day, she is a psychic. She's known Teresa for years. Oh, well, there's some stellar credentials right there. Teresa is actually very quiet, but she does back Jennifer up. And Margaret goes, come on, she used the word endorse. And Teresa goes, I asked Jennifer, what did you tell her? And she's like, I just told her Margaret and I had a fight. Oh, God. Everyone is shocked. I'm sure Jennifer's like, thank you, Teresa. Yeah, so Teresa just kind of outed Jennifer by saying that Jennifer actually did have a conversation with Angie, the coffee reader, ahead of time. So now Jennifer's like, I'll be honest. Okay. I had to call her to make sure that she had everything she needed. And she joked like, oh, am I going into the lion's den? And I said, no. We're all totally fine. Well, me and Margaret might have like a little thing. We're not getting along that well, whatever. Then in Jennifer's confessional, she says, I called her the night before to like make sure that she had whatever, like matching coffee cups, etc. And, we got into a little conversation. When she said endorsement, I did think to myself, did I tell her that? I mean, how can you be mad at that? That's so funny. Margaret goes, Jennifer, you tainted a witness. And Jennifer goes, no, you didn't let me finish, Margaret. The jury listens to all the evidence before making a decision. And Margaret goes, yeah, but you're not allowed to call the jury the night before. And Jennifer goes, listen, I talk a lot. It was 10 o'clock at night. And Margaret goes, so you're saying you possibly could have told her those things with no recollection of it? Jennifer, long pause. That could be true. I love it. Everybody laughs. I feel like, how could you be mad after that? Dolores goes, Jennifer will accept that. And Jennifer goes, but I didn't tell her about Laura. And there is a lot of that L said that I would never repeat. And Margaret's like, you even warned Melissa to watch out. She better watch it. For what? And Jennifer goes, just some of the things that Laura said. And Margaret's like, oh, so Laura's saying accurate? And Jennifer goes, she said a lot of crazy things about you, and I was just telling her to beware. And Margaret goes, it's spreading untruths. Jennifer, it's not spreading. It's repeating something somebody said. She has the same definition of the word spreading that Teresa had the year she wasn't spreading the rumors about Evan. Doing stuff. Like stuff. Like stuff at the gym. Did you hear anything about that? Yeah, no, that wasn't her spreading the rumor. She was just repeating something that she heard to anyone who would listen. Duh, not spreading, just repeating. All over the place. So Danielle goes, what is Laura saying? You got to give it to Danielle. She has been wanting to get to the bottom of this since like episode 1, when she knew that Laura had told Teresa and Jennifer something and they wouldn't repeat it. That has been stuck in her craw ever since. So Jennifer goes, she said things that I wouldn't even repeat. And then in Jennifer's confessional, she said, that Laura sang like a bird, and I think Margaret can't stand that I know it and I love it. I love every minute of it. Okay, so now the ladies all head to their rooms to get ready. They get changed and ready to go on the pub crawl. Wait, is that Dolores in Louboutin boots? She was told earlier by Paulie's sister-in-law that the cobblestones would kill those red souls. Oh boy. Okay, so Danielle heads to Jennifer's room. Gee, I wonder why. And, they just talk about the lunch was really wild, wasn't it? And Jennifer said that Margaret is so pissed because she doesn't know what Laura told me, and I'm sure she's very worried. But Laura was like, you're going to want to hear what I have to say. And when someone says that to you about someone who's done you dirty, you're intrigued. I mean, she's not wrong. So Danielle goes, what did Laura say to you that you cannot say? Because now I want to know. Oh, now you want to know? Girl, you've been wanting to know since episode 1. Jennifer, I can't say. And Danielle's like, but you said a bunch of other shit. Like, why can't you say this? Jennifer, because that stuff is petty. But this, there's a family involved. And something very similar was done to me last year. And it did end up being true. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and do to somebody else what is like very extremely similar to what was done to me last year. Danielle, God bless her, she will not be deterred. It's about someone in our friend group? Jennifer, it's about someone that we all know. Gee, I wonder who. Let's think about this for a second. At lunch about 30 minutes ago, you said that Melissa needs to be worried. So, could it be about Melissa? Anyway, Jennifer's like, she made me and Teresa swear we wouldn't say anything. Laura made them swear they wouldn't repeat it. So Danielle, always the genius, neither of you want to say. So it's about Melissa. So what is it? Jennifer, oh, wow, we're breaking down already? This is about 90 seconds after you just said you don't want to be a hypocrite and do to somebody else what was done to you last year because a family is involved. Remember? And you seem to be getting along okay with Melissa this year. So, what? Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I want to know what it is. I mean, I'm a viewer, but I don't know these people in real life. And if they were my friends in real life, I wouldn't. I guess good news for all of us. Jennifer spilled the beans. So she goes, so Laura was telling me that Margaret told her some rumor that somebody that works with both of them, I assume she means Margaret and Melissa, this person opened the door to the back seat of the car and he saw Melissa in the back seat with a guy. And the person who claims that he witnessed it told Margaret that they were making out. Danielle, she was making out with someone else? No, Danielle, it was with her husband, Joe. Oh, big news. Jennifer, she was making out with another guy. Look, maybe it just happened once and it was over, but he told Margaret. Danielle, so Margaret is the one saying it. Jennifer, yes, Margaret is saying it. Oh my God, look how delighted Jennifer is. I've never seen her this happy. She really hates Margaret. I'm not saying she shouldn't, but I'm just saying it's so clear that she does. It's like how clear it is that Teresa hates Melissa. That's how much Jennifer hates Margaret. So Danielle goes, oh, so she really does have an arsenal on everybody. Jennifer, she does. And if you piss her off, she pays you back. And now what Jennifer says next, I would say, is Jennifer really throwing Teresa under the bus. Inadvertently, I suppose, payback for Teresa telling everyone at the table that she called the psychic the night before. I don't know. You be the judge. But here's what Jennifer says. Laura didn't want to tell us, which is a lie, because she said it'll destroy Melissa. And Teresa said, tell me. This woman said, I don't really want to tell you this because it will destroy Melissa. And Teresa said, tell me. I mean, listen, ever since Strippergate, Teresa has been trying to take down Melissa. And basically, I think, get her out of Joe's life so that she can have her brother back. Danielle's like, do they know about it? And Jennifer said, no. Danielle, this is a bomb. If what Jennifer said earlier wasn't bad enough, she now says, yes. And Teresa was so pissed. She was like, you know what, Jen? I believe it. Of course she does. And also, it doesn't hurt that she wants to believe it. It helps her case of why Melissa needs to go. Danielle, oh, is that why Teresa didn't want to put her in her wedding? Jennifer's like, she was really pissed off. She's like, it makes me sick. So Danielle wishes that she never heard about it now because Danielle feels like she's put in the middle. Remember, Bougie Kids has a rack in envy. You know, Melissa has been kind to her and helping out her business and all that. So she feels like she's in the middle now and she doesn't want any part of it. So yeah, you know, curiosity killed the cat, Danielle. You pushed really hard to know this information. Now you don't want to know it. But here's what I would like to say. Teresa truly believes that Melissa cheated on Joe. And she's what? She's just holding this information? She's not sharing it with her brother? Like, What's going on there, do you think? She's not doing it for Melissa's sake. All right, well, it's time for the pub crawl, and everyone is in various shades of green. It doesn't look good. There's too many variations on the color green, and they don't all complement each other. I'm seeing that now because some are in like bright green and others are in sort of a drab army green, like an olive green. I don't know. Jennifer's like in a teal. It's not super cohesive, but Teresa does look like a little bride in her white little tutu dress. She reminisces about her first bachelor party, which was on Long Island, and they went someplace to see male strippers, and Teresa said it was all right. I mean, it wasn't like Channing Taming. Maybe if it was, it would be better. Yeah, I don't know Channing Taming, but apparently he's hot. Imagine if Channing Tatum was there. She'd lose her mind. All right, so they get to the first place, and they're ordering drinks and appetizers. Maybe they're having dinner there. I don't know. They're all sitting at, like, this big table. And Danielle breaks the ice with a weird little question. She says, do any of you send, like, naughty, sexy pictures to your man when you're on a girl's trip? Jen Fessler, ew, no. Other people are like, no. Jennifer says she doesn't. Teresa, I do. Are they of Channing Taming? Rachel's like, I don't need to. We've been married 6 years. It looks the same. And Melissa just says, Joe and I don't text much. So Danielle says, if I sent a picture to your husband, would he know it wasn't you? Say what now? Melissa's like, I don't know. So Danielle takes a picture of herself, like close up. I don't know if it's her cleavage. I don't know. Takes a picture of it herself, sends the picture to Melissa's phone, and Melissa sends it to Joe. And Melissa goes, he texted back already. Who's that? So Danielle's like, okay, so he knows your boobies. So yeah, I don't know if this was some weird test that Danielle did because she has this information in her head now, but she's just like, okay, that's good. She feels like everything's good on the home front there because Joe knows her boobies. That was just weird. Anyway, then we start talking wedding. It's just 2 weeks away. And Jen Fessler said, so what made you ask these two to be your bridesmaids? Meaning, the last minute substitutes of Jennifer and Dolores. Teresa, because they've always been big supporters of me and Louie. But honestly, I was afraid to ask them because I thought my brother was going to get all upset. I didn't want to start trouble with him, like with your mom. And then she's like, I swear if he would have just told me, I would have been like, oh my God, yes, thank you for telling me. So it was just an oversight? Huh. Melissa goes, but when they asked you about it, you said, oh, there's history there. Teresa, back in the day, I'm saying there was something. And not your mom. Oof. She is backpedaling hard. Melissa's like, well, but back in the day, you and I didn't speak. Like, a lot of things have happened since then. Jennifer, right, but inviting you is like through obligation. How mad at Teresa are you, Jennifer? You are just throwing her under the bus left and right. Melissa's like, what now? I'm an obligation? Margaret goes, back that up. And Melissa's like, yeah, you're not helping, Jennifer. And Teresa goes, I don't need any help. I can talk to her just fine on my own. So Teresa is really basically going back to, I just thought that if I invited her mom, I had to invite her whole family, but not inviting Don and Marco is like just an oversight. She said, I'm human. I made a mistake. And Joe should have just called. Yeah. Like he called to see if you would please reconsider having Melissa as a bridesmaid, and you did nothing. But I guess he should figure that if he called and said, please invite her mother, you would be like, oh, of course. Of course I will. Anyway, Jackie decides to lighten the mood with a limerick, and it goes a little something like this. There once was a girl from Paramus who could really be friendly and amorous. Just bear in mind, if you ask her to find you a psychic, she might go and scam us. Everyone's laughing, well, except Jennifer. Jennifer's like, it wasn't a scam. In Jennifer's confessional, she goes, I didn't find that amusing, but that's not surprising because it's not like Jackie's the funny one in this group. No, she's not. That's true. So now Jen Fessler comes up with, there once was a girl named Fuda who sometimes was in a bad mooda. When you make fun of her nose, like some of those hoes, Jennifer, I didn't make fun of her nose. She says, yo bitches, screw ya. Well, I have a limerick of my own, you guys. And it goes a little something like this. There once was a group of real housewives who pretended to be friends in their real lives. But make no mistake, if you're serving them cake, you must first put away all the sharp knives. All right, that's mine. And that is it for this episode. What I need in the comment section below is your limericks. Come on, get creative. Are you Team Teresa? Then come up with a good one about Melissa. Are you Team Margaret? Come up with a good one about Jennifer. Yeah, let's hear them. Let's hear what you got, you guys. No, I liked that we ended on like a note where everybody was laughing at the end. That's always nice. Of course, the night is young. It's a pub crawl after all, and they haven't really crawled anywhere yet. So usually alcohol makes things a little spicy, so we'll see about next week. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And if you go ahead and click on that bell icon, you will be notified every time I post something new on my channel. As most of you know, I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you click on any one of the links I have in my description box below, it'll take you to Amazon and you can purchase whatever you want. Doesn't have to be that item. And as long as you do so within, I think it's 24 hours, I will receive a small credit for any qualifying purchases that you make. All right. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.